Nebraska fans, let's have a conversation. You've been hurt before. You've been hurt the last couple off seasons. Every single off season, you're drinking the Kool-Aid and having people like me telling you, hey, it's okay to hope. It's okay to have some trust. I said it this past off season, and I believed it wholeheartedly. But I think there is a new approach you need to take with trusting Nebraska and trusting Matt Rhule. Because with Matt Rhule, I think the view needs to be taken of not so much a dating relationship, like maybe it's felt in the past. Can I trust Coach Frost? Can I trust what they're going to do this coming season? Can I trust them? Can I trust them with my heart? I don't think that's how you view Matt Rhule in this whole experience. Rather than a first date or a dating relationship, you view this Coach Rhule era as a personal trainer. And the reality with a personal trainer, that first year, his first few workouts, you don't feel very good. Your body is beat up. You are sore. You break down the muscle to then build it back up. So I'm telling you, it's not a first date with Coach Rhule. This is the first couple workouts. And I'm telling you, the first couple workouts, from experience, I can tell you, they're not fun, all right? They're not fun. They prepare you for this entire operation. Now, what I would say, though, Matt Rhule and Scott Frost, vastly different. And I'm not here to talk down on Scott Frost, but I am here to tell you they're different characters. Just look at the resume. Scott Frost, successful Power 5 coordinator and position coach, was a Group of 5 head coach when he got to Nebraska. And a lot of people, myself included, thought that was a great hire for Nebraska. Former quarterback, gets the culture, gets what Nebraska has been when they're successful. That's great. But still, the credentials were a Group of 5 head coach. He had never been a Power 5 head coach. Now, Matt Rhule comes to you having been a Group of 5 head coach as well, but also he was a Power 5 head coach. And when he took over Baylor, I cannot stress this enough, Baylor was at the epitome of ground zero. Baylor was in a very, very bad way when he got there. And before you know it, in 3 years, playing for a conference title. That first year was rough for him at Temple and at Baylor, but there's a process that he has in place. There's a way that he does things, a way that his staff does things that has proven results at the Group of 5 and at the Power 5 level. So the credentials and the resume is very, very different from Scott Frost and Matt Rhule. I think Matt Rhule has a lot of what Nebraska needs. More on that in just a second. If you have not yet subscribed to the On3 YouTube channel, no time like the present. Come on and join the party. We'd love to have you a part of this. Also, follow me on social media at JD Piquel on Twitter as well as on Instagram. Matt Rhule has a lot of what Nebraska needs. Nebraska doesn't need a new trendy scheme, the next great thing in terms of offensive or defensive approach. They don't need somebody to be great with the boosters. Sure, it helps. It's never a negative to have somebody that knows how to communicate well with boosters and communicate well with a crowd, which he does actually. But it's not what Nebraska needs. You don't need a rah-rah guy. You don't need somebody to have a great soundbite for a hype video. That's not what you need at Nebraska. You've had that before. You've had all that before. That's fine. What you need at Nebraska is someone who is going to reinstall a winning culture and who's going to be able to evaluate with the best of them. We'll start there with the evaluation. The Big Ten West, you've probably heard me say this before, you're recruiting the same caliber kind of player. That's not to knock on who they recruit. It's just you're going after the same kind of guy. 3-star, maybe 4-star. Every now and then you'll find a 5-star, but it's really that 3 to 4-star range. Can you recruit the 3-star with the skills and the tools that you can be successful with and develop them to be an NFL draft pick? That's what Matt Rhule has a proven track record of doing. Now, on culture, I think that's arguably more important because I just told you, you're recruiting the same kind of player. So at a base level, the talent across the board with who you're playing, for the time being at least, is relatively similar. Now, can you have the culture that's going to allow you to separate? And culture isn't just how you take the field. It's not just what you have on your wall in the weight room and in your meeting rooms. That's all well and good, and I believe in that, and I believe that Matt Rhule will have that to the nth degree. But culture is a way of preparing. Culture is a confidence, a swagger about yourself. Culture is caring about the right things. And Matt Rhule's brand, toughest, most competitive, hardest working team in the country. That is what they will be. That is what he will preach. And Nebraska hasn't had that in spades. And when is culture revealed? In game. When is culture revealed in game? When it's close, when it's late, when you have a chance to take the life of the opponent, to take the wind out of their sails. You got to do it. When it's crunch time, that's when you find out what culture is. And why I say that's lacking at Nebraska, the past 2 seasons, Nebraska has lost a total of 13 games by 1 score. Just right in the chest. I know. That's why we're having this conversation. The trust. Can you trust Matt Rhule? I'm telling you, the culture that he has in place and the way they do things, that's going to equip them to get over the hump in those games. I wholeheartedly believe that. The new culture that's going to be installed, it's a buzzword, it's a cliche, but it's a cliche because it's true. Matt Rhule is bringing that to the table here. That's what Nebraska needs. Now, in year 1, what can you expect? What can you expect in year 1? I told you there's a level of uncomfortability that's going to be in play here. It's not just the first day. It's a first couple workouts. Going to be sore. When you move into a new place and you just see empty rooms and windows and all that, and you just see the barren setting of a new home, you don't just say, this place isn't livable. Look, there's no beds, there's no carpet. We can't live here. You don't say that, right? Because you haven't even put your stuff down, haven't even started moving in, haven't even gotten situated. That's what Nebraska football is in year 1. You don't look at year 1 and say, we can't win with this. We can't be successful here. You let it run. You give it some time to get situated. My wife and I, we just moved here from Texas to Nashville, Tennessee. How irresponsible would it be to say, we can't live here after the first month? After just showing up and looking at the apartment and saying, there's no way we can live here. Look at that, there's nothing here. That's not how this whole thing works. Anytime you move in somewhere, they tell you, give it some time. Anytime you get an appliance fixed, let's take it a step further. We said the same thing about Brian Kelly. Whether it's pipes, whether it's a computer, whatever it is, as soon as they fix it for you, what do they tell you? Turn it on, let it run. Let it run. I very much so believe the process in place at Nebraska, what Matt Rhule brings, is proven. It works. He's got a track record of it working at the collegiate level. Let it run. Don't panic if year 1 you're sore and you're not feeling like it's going to be the match made in heaven you thought it would be. The hope here isn't for 2023. The hope is for the future of Nebraska football. Matt Rhule isn't here to win in 2023. Of course, that's the expectation. I promise you, that's the expectation for him. That's why they've been attacking the portal, bringing in 11 transfers. The expectation is sustained success, to rebuild, to revamp, to reinstall a culture and a program in Lincoln, Nebraska. Okay, so I'm excited about this. I'm excited about where Nebraska's headed. To answer the question, can you trust, again, Nebraska fans? Yes, you can. But perspective is vitally important to how you trust and how you go about evaluating Nebraska in 2023. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.